Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Fairley. I'm the BOBS Provincial Administrator. As many of you know, you've received my emails over the last couple of years. We also have Adam, the Director of Business Development for BIDS Central, on the line. As I just said, we're going to start with the GCs and how there's a couple of changes for them. And then we're going to move into the trades. So for the trades on the line, I think you should continue to pay attention to this part, just to have some idea of what the process for the GCs when they receive your bid. So we do have this new platform that we're launching here in the Lower Mainland. So why did we do this? The way we were doing it before with bids and tenders, that was really a stopgap, although it turned into a multi-year stopgap after our other system went away. So I'll just say we know and understand, and we received that feedback just about how many platforms there are out there right now. And so, we have, I would say, sympathy, for all of you, including the GCs. But this is a login that you already have. And we think that for the trades, it's going to be so much easier. I think that this is going to be something that's intuitive, makes sense, and it's how you want to bid to a GC anyways. For the general contractors, we're looking to make it more automated again for those of you who've used Bid Central in the past number of years ago. So with that, what was the process to develop this? As I've mentioned, we had all of you, if you're a trade on the line, I think we've had most of you or most of your companies test this process already. And for those of you that didn't, you still gave me feedback, and we've adopted that into it. So we did have this whole process before any of you looked at it, was by a BOBS review committee member, and he went through it in detail. He knows probably BOBS better than anybody in the province. He gave us a lot of really good feedback. And like I said, so far, it's been really overwhelmingly positive. Adam, do we want to launch into the general contractor section and some of the minor changes that they're going to face?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, this is Adam here. So I'm just going to walk you through the process to start with as a general contractor. So the process for that hasn't changed too much, with the exception of you'll be receiving your bids via a secure online platform, which we have built. So the first step really is to register and go through the wizard as you've done before. For everyone new to BOBS, if you're new, if you're not, this is probably redundant, but you can go to our homepage, bidcentral.ca, and then go to the project listings here to see what's available. And then you'll see the project that you're interested in right here, and you'll see the screen button that says Launch BOBS Wizard. So this takes you into the wizard, which you've probably been through before. It will show the pre-bid interpretations there. Definitely check those out, and then click Next. And then step 2, company type. You'll select general contractor, and then there's some instructions here for general contractors. And then click Next. And then step 3, this is where you do the registration and you pay the BOBS registration fee. So click through to that and use your credit card to pay for that. And then click Next. And that's it. And once you're finished, you just sit back and wait for the project to close, and then you'll receive an email, an automated email once the project's closed and the bids have been collected, with a link to view those bid submissions. So now it's really important to note that when you go through the BOBS registration back to step 3 here, the email address that you use to register is the email address that you'll use to log in to receive those bids. I'm emphasizing that because if you log in with a different email account, you won't have access to those bids, and that's part of the security of the system. The email address that you register with is the email address that you will receive the bid submissions, and that's also the login that you'll use to actually view and download those bids.
It's still going to look like it's an email coming from me, and you'll click the link. So if you're somebody that, you know, you forward it through to another estimator to get those bids and download them and get the who bid who and the bonds and everything. They're going to need to use your email address, or I should say whichever email address was used in the registration. So emphasizing what Adam just said. So should be, again, really intuitive, but any questions or concerns from the GCs, of course, reach out to both Adam, or I should say the Bid Central team, and myself as well.
Yep.
So should we move on to onto the trades and GCs? You're welcome to stay on and just and watch this as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so the process is similar. So you'll go into the BOBS project. You can get to that from the BOBS tab up at the top, or go from the Bid Central homepage, or you can access it even, I think, through the plan room as well. So yeah, once you're at this page, you'll see same buttons here. A new button has appeared that says My Bid Submission. So this will load any of the bid submissions that you've already made. But if you haven't made any, then you'll want to launch the BOBS wizard. So go ahead and click the Launch BOBS wizard. And again, pre-bid interpretations. These are the same first couple of steps that you'll go through. The difference now is that you'll select trade contractor, and then there's the information for subtrades. Click Next, and now it will take you into the new process where you can view the terms and conditions, accept BOBS terms and conditions. Click Next. And step 4 now is the project registration. So here's the button that you'll click on to pay the BOBS registration fee. Make special note of the receipt number when you've completed the transaction. That will show up in the email receipt that you'll get, because you'll need to put that into this box right here. Then fill this information out. Email address, city, save and next. And then step 5 here is the upload the bid bond. And then click Next. And then step 6 here is the schedule of prices. So you can see these are the GCs that are available for this particular project. You can select one or multiple GCs here. So you can bid to both here. You can select your trade, and then you can insert your bids, your bid price. And then in the additional prices section, you can fill those out, or if they're not applicable, you can tag them as NA.
And Adam, I'll just jump in and move to a BOBS rules item. So NA is truly when it's not applicable to your scope of work. In this exact instance where, you know, the owner has explicitly asked for the regular hourly rate for the electrical subcontractor, you are going to have to answer it. You know, let's just take out, for instance, let's say the owner had an additional price for something to do with flooring. There's a high likelihood that's not going to affect electrical or mechanical, depending on the wording. That would be an appropriate place to say NA. But otherwise, you know, if it's a particular, let's say, alternate, you know, price that would have an impact or should have an impact on M&E, you know, either or, you could put down a 0 if it actually makes no impact to the price. So just be aware of that as you see NA there. It is a function of the rules that you are able to do it, but just make sure that you're using it appropriately.
Hardik has raised his hand. You should be able to talk now.
Yeah. Adam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for the demo. I just had a quick question. When you were going into the bidders at the select GCs, there were only 2 GCs that I could see, KDF and Yellowstone. We had the 3rd GC, Turner Construction. Is that something like we need to create an account or something to have our name on there?
I'll take that. If you want to contact us separately and we can have that discussion. If I believe that this was a pre-qualification from the owner, so you would have to go through as a GC and pay the fee. And then from there, that's how you get onto that list.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, super.
Thank you. So yeah, moving on here. If you could,
Okay,
go ahead.
and Adam, we have a question here that's in the Q&A. Can two people, two different emails from the same company register on the same project?
Yeah, you mean to submit? I mean, technically, yes, you can. You cannot edit. So if you started a draft and then your colleague logged in, they wouldn't have access to view your bids. But if you started a draft and then you went on holiday, your colleague could log in and start a new bid and submit a bid. Okay, the last step on this page is the cash allowances. For this one, I'm not going to be submitting cash allowances. And then I'll hit save and next. Okay, so now we've got to the last step here. So this is the chance to review your bid, make sure there's no error messages, there's no errors in here or any issues. You can view your bond file that you've uploaded, make sure that's correct. And then you can see my bid amounts, who I'm bidding to. Oh, got another question here. Terrence is asking, we have electrical and mechanical bids for the same project. Can this be done? Yeah, absolutely. So once you've completed your bid for electrical, then you can go in and submit your bid for mechanical. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Okay, and then lastly, you'll hit the big green button there to submit your bid. And it says your bid has been successfully submitted. You can click here to see your bid submissions, or you can click here to submit another bid. So Terrence, regarding your question, this is where you'd hit to submit another bid, go through the steps again. You don't need to pay a separate registration fee, keep the same receipt number, put that in, and walk through the process again to submit your bid. So now that the bid's submitted, you can access your bid submissions by up at the top, clicking on BOBS, and then going to My Bid Submissions. And you can see that here's my bid submission. You can download the bid, you can submit a new bid, or you can withdraw it.
And obviously you can only withdraw before the BOBS bid closing period, same as any tender. Actually, I should say within this system, of course, you know that you have 24 hours to withdraw your bid, but you have to contact me and there's a fee associated with it. And that's a manual process for that very reason.
So you'll see in here as well that there's two bids here. Here's one I started earlier. I didn't submit it, so it's a draft. So you can either continue editing that bid, or you can delete it, or you can, with your submitted bid, you can withdraw it up until the closing date.
I believe Terrence's question had to do with what if it's two different people doing the bid submissions at different times? So maybe I'm assuming one person is doing it for electrical and another person could be doing it for mechanical.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, you can have two different people submitting for different trades. But the one user submitting for electrical wouldn't be able to see the other user's submission for mechanical.
Yeah, so I'd say that would be an internal process for everybody on the call of how you want to approach submitting under this new system, whether you have, a central account that you're using. But that's an internal discussion that you'll need to have. But other than that,
Perfect.
If there's no other questions, I'll talk slowly in case somebody else is typing. I really hope that everyone's happy. I hope anybody else that kind of gave me some feedback back in the spring about leeriness of another system. We hope that you find this really simple to use. Again, you can bid to all now, or as always, you can submit different bids with different prices to different GCs. So that is still 100% in your control to be able to do that.
We got
Yep.
another question? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Melda asked the question, just to clarify, we are not going to use bids and tenders. Yes, thank you. No, bids and tenders for the purposes of BOBS no longer exist. So you guys, the BOBS bidders, and in this case for the two projects that we've invited to watch this, both M&E, you will not be going back to bids and tenders. Just for extra clarity for the GCs that are on the line, of course, you're going to follow whatever the owner says. But for yes, and being able to bid to all, we know is going to be good. I think this is going to be a very good process for everybody. But of course, feedback is welcome. Please go through and test it, of course, so that you're familiar
couple
with
other
it.
quick points as well. I should have mentioned at the beginning, but the login that you'll use for this system is the same as your Bid Central login. So whatever you use to log into the plan room is the login that you'll use for BOBS. And secondly, if you go back to the BOBS page here and you look at the projects, you'll actually see this button here for My Bid Submissions, and that will load your bid submissions for just that specific project. So you can see your submissions just for that one project, or you can go to your bid submission page and that will load them for every project.